Ever since the beginning, man has looked to the sun, the moon, and the stars with wonder and amazement. In 459 BC, the pre-Socratic Greek philosopher Anaxagoras wrote that the purpose of life is the investigation of the sun, the moon, and the heavens. It is Greek philosopher Socrates who said, "Man must rise above the earth, to the top of the atmosphere and beyond, for only thus will he fully understand the world in which he lives." In 1610, Johannes Kepler wrote, "As soon as somebody demonstrates the art of flying, settlers from our species of man will not be lacking on the moon and Jupiter. Given ships or sails adapted to the breezes of heaven, there will be those who will not shrink from even that vast expanse." And in the pamphlet Sidereal Messenger, also written in 1610, Galileo Galilei wrote, "It is a most beautiful and delightful sight to behold the body of the moon." For thousands of years, soldiers have used the sunlight to guide their marches by day. And moonlight by night. The moon. Ever since the beginning, man has been fascinated by the moon. Even me. My story begins on July 5th, 1969, when my parents married in a small church in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. 15 days later, they sat together watching a small black and white television set as Neil Armstrong took the first human steps on the surface of the moon, fulfilling a dream that's as old as humanity. It was the first big event in their young marriage, but I wasn't even around yet.
3.5 down, 220 feet. 11 forward, coming down nicely, 200 feet. 4.5 down, 5.5 down. 100 feet, 3.5 down, 9 forward. Okay, 75 feet. Car's looking good, down a half. 6 forward. 60 seconds. Lights on, forward. Forward. 40 feet, down 2.5. Picking up some dust. Straight shadow. 4 forward, drift into the right a little. 30 seconds. Forward. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. Neil, we can see you coming.
Okay, I just checked. Getting back up to that first step. It hasn't collapsed too far, but it's adequate to get back up.
Roger, we copy.
It's a pretty good little jump. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The lamb footbeds are only depressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches, although the surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. Ground mass is very fine. I'm going to step off the laminate. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful from here, Neil. It has a stark beauty all its own. It's like much of the high desert of the United States. It's different, but it's very pretty out here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dave Scott, Jim Irwin, and Al Warden were on their way to the moon in Apollo 15 when I breathed my first breath of life late on the night of July 28, 1971, in a Washington, D.C. hospital.
That's just super. It's, unreal. Dave, I'm reminded of a favorite biblical passage from Psalms. I look unto the hills from whence cometh my help. But of course we get quite a bit from Houston too.
A few months later, Isaac Asimov wrote, "Reaching the moon by three-man vessels in one long bound from Earth is like casting a thin thread across space. The main effort in the coming decades will be to strengthen this thread, to make it a cord, a cable, and finally, a broad highway."
Houston. Right away, Houston.
Then when Apollo 17 returned from its lunar mission in December 1972, we suddenly stopped going as the Apollo program was canceled. I was only 18 months old. When Skylab was falling back to Earth in 1979, I was glued into the nightly television news. I wanted to know everything about it. As a 7-year-old, it was fascinating stuff. Yet when it crashed in the Indian Ocean, a part of me crashed with it. Then in April 1981, when Space Shuttle Columbia made its maiden voyage, I watched every minute of the coverage with visions and hopes of my own spaceflight. I wrote a letter to NASA late in 1985, asking about the requirements to be an astronaut. Then the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded, and I never got the information. This, of course, was before the days of the internet. And yes, when the astronauts died, I cried. In 2000, I visited Cape Canaveral while in the U.S. Air Force. The Space Shuttle Atlantis was on the launch pad for STS-101. One of the astronauts for that mission was Jeffrey N. Williams. Same name, different guy. While I admit I'm a bit jealous, he has done our name proud. The Space Shuttle fleet has flown and been retired, and we still haven't been back to the moon. Asimov's dream of a broad highway through space has still not materialized. I'm 47 now, the same age as Alan Shepard was when he flew to the moon on Apollo 14, making him the oldest person to set foot on the lunar surface. He was at the end of his distinguished career. Mine never began. Will we ever go back to the moon? Maybe someday. It's too late for me. My role now is to help inspire, prepare, and support the next generation of astronauts who want to go to the moon or beyond. Technological advances have given support and training to the next generation. Future astronauts like Alyssa Carson, who at 17 has already gone to every space camp, become a scuba diver, taken classes at International Space University, and assisted in a microgravity spacesuit evaluation, has already had more training and support than was available to me at her age.
What do you got there, Alyssa?
It's one of the first medals I won, so I was like, oh, sure, I'll float it.
That's fine, kid.
What'd you win a medal for, Alyssa?
Oh, it was just from the first space camp I went to when I was like really young, around 7,
Okay.
and so childhood memory.
There you go. So far behind you at 16. Okay, pitch, roll. Oh, right.
2, 1, out.
Parabola success.
She wants to go to Mars. I hope she makes it. Maybe someday. I hope I'm still here when she does it. As Arthur C. Clarke wrote, "The moon is the first milestone on the road to the stars." Fare thee well, Star Voyager. Good luck and Godspeed.